Hi, and welcome to the HVAC safety course. My name is Tim, and I'll be your instructor throughout this video series. In this chapter, we're going to talk about general safety and how it relates to the HVAC world. OSHA, or the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, has published much of the information we're going to discuss here. But as a technician, you're going to need to be aware of the specific safety codes and regulations pertaining to your job. There's a lot of potential job hazards out there with liquid refrigerants, with combustible fuels, sharp edges, not to mention electrical safety, which we'll talk about in the next lesson. It's very important, again, that you use all applicable codes and regulations for a specific job. Make sure you're wearing appropriate protective equipment, including safety glasses, appropriate clothing, as well as gloves in some cases. Make sure you report to your employer any problem with equipment that may cause harm to others in the workplace. Report to your employer any violation of regulations and any other hazards that you may find on the job site. It's very important that yourself, as well as anyone else working with you, never works in a way that makes anyone feel unsafe. This includes pranking, shoving off, unnecessary running, and rough conduct on the job site. One of the things that's very important that an HVAC technician always needs to do is maintain proper housekeeping at the job site. This maintains a functional workplace and lessens the risk of injury or accident. Properly store material and equipment, clean up after yourself, and be sure to dispose of waste and debris. You also want to focus on fire prevention and protection to keep the work environment safe. So we're going to talk a little bit about fire protection. Every day, HVAC technicians work with solvents, gases, combustible fuels, as well as construction materials. So there's always a potential for a fire on the job. There are three classes of fires. The first fire is referred to as a Class A fire, which includes wood, paper, or textiles that are burning. These fires should have water used on them. Be sure to use the proper fire extinguishers. A Class B fire is a fire that contains flammable liquids such as oil, grease, varnish, paint, or possibly chemicals. These fires require some type of smothering agent such as foam. A fire extinguisher with a Class B rating will handle this type of fire. A Class C is an electrical fire. Now, an electrical fire is going to require a non-conducting agent such as CO2 or carbon dioxide to put out this type of fire by displacing oxygen. Class C fire extinguishers can also be used on Class B fires, but usually do not work on a Class A fire. So it's important to know these three fires so that you have the proper extinguishing equipment to put the fire out in the event that you have this occur. Just a couple of very important notes regarding fires and fire extinguishers. Under no circumstances should you use water on a Class B fire containing grease, oil, paint, or varnish. This could spread the fire. In addition, using a Class C fire extinguisher on an electrical fire, you need to use extreme caution so that the horn of the fire extinguisher does not touch any live circuits. In addition, be sure that you have a properly ventilated space. If you're in a confined space, a Class C fire extinguisher will displace oxygen in the area. Now, approximately half of all of the on-the-job injuries in the HVAC field are caused by worker fatigue as well as slips and falls. It's important when you're climbing on ladders or stairways or crossing rooftops that you use caution and be aware of your surroundings. Watch for slippery floors and be careful working around moving machinery such as fans and blowers. Now, while in your work vehicle, it's very important you practice good driving safety, and there are some basic rules for service vehicles. As a technician, you're going to be traveling from job to job, so you've got to observe the following guidelines. Use common sense when you're driving. Keep your vehicle in good working condition, as well as keeping the interior clean. Make sure all material inside the vehicle and your cargo is evenly distributed before driving off. Any cargo that could shift, such as compressed gas cylinders or large boxes, make sure you secure those. Look at your blind spots of the vehicle. Make sure your mirrors are adjusted. And make sure you don't drive the vehicle if you're under the influence of drugs or alcohol. That concludes the first section of this general safety chapter. We'll see you back here for the next lesson covering more topics in this area of safety.